Control your anger before it controls you. We've all experienced anger. Do you get irritated when someone cuts you off in traffic? When your child refuses to comply, does your blood pressure skyrocket? Whether as a passing annoyance or as full-fledged rage, anger is a fully natural and in most cases healthy human emotion. However, when it becomes destructive and out of control, it may cause issues at work, in your personal life and relationships, and in the general quality of your life. Anger might make you feel like you're at the mercy of a volatile and powerful feeling. But seriously, what does anger actually mean? The nature of anger. According to Charles Spielberger, PhD, a psychologist who specializes in the study of anger, anger is an emotional state that ranges in intensity from moderate annoyance to severe fury and violence. When you're upset, your heart rate and blood pressure rise, as do your levels of energy, hormones, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. Anger can be triggered by both external and internal factors. You may be furious at a specific person, such as a coworker or boss, or incident such as a traffic jam or a canceled trip. Or you may be upset as a result of worrying or brooding over personal concerns. Anger can be triggered by memories of painful or upsetting situations. Responding violently is the instinctual, natural method to show anger. It's a normal, adaptive response to threats. It inspires strong, often violent sentiments and behaviors that enable us to fight and defend ourselves when assaulted. We can't, on the other hand, physically strike out at every person or item that upsets or annoys us. Laws, societal conventions, and common sense limit how far our rage may go. People deal with their furious sentiments through a number of conscious and unconscious mechanisms. There are three approaches: expressing, suppressing, and calming. The healthiest approach to exhibit anger is in an authoritative rather than aggressive manner. To do so, you must learn how to express your demands and how to get them satisfied without harming others. Being assertive does not imply being forceful or demanding. Rather, it implies respecting yourself and others. Anger can be controlled before it can be turned or redirected. This occurs when you suppress your anger, stop thinking about it, and concentrate on something constructive. The goal is to control or restrain your anger and redirect it into more beneficial actions. The problem with this sort of reaction is that if it is not allowed to show itself outside, your wrath might shift inward on yourself. Anger directed inward can lead to hypertension, high blood pressure, or even depression. Anger that is not expressed might lead to other issues. It can result in pathological forms of rage, such as passive-aggressive conduct, reacting to someone indirectly without explaining why, rather than addressing them directly, or a personality that appears eternally cynical and angry. People who are continually knocking people down, criticizing everything, and making cynical remarks haven't learned how to vent their anger constructively. They are unlikely to have many successful relationships, which is not unexpected. Finally, you may relax on the inside. This includes not just regulating your outward actions, but also your internal responses, such as taking efforts to reduce your pulse rate, calm yourself, and allow the sensations to pass. As Dr. Spielberger notes, when none of these three techniques work, that's when someone or something is going to get hurt. So, how could we actually manage anger? Or is it even possible to manage our emotions rather than allowing them to drive us? The purpose of regulating your emotions and anger is to reduce both your emotional sentiments and the physiological stimulation caused by anger. You can't get rid of it, ignore it, or change the things or people who irritate you, but you can learn to manage your emotions. Before we get to the strategies on how you can master your emotions, if you are enjoying the content, then subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon and let us know when it's done, because that's the only way to motivate us to create such great content. Strategies to keep anger at bay. Focus on relaxation. Simple relaxation techniques such as deep breathing and soothing images can aid in the reduction of violent sensations. There are books and classes available that may teach you relaxation methods, and once you've learned them, you can use them in any scenario. If you're in a relationship with a hot-tempered spouse, it could be a good idea for both of you to master these strategies. Some simple steps you can try. Breathe deeply from your diaphragm. Breathing from your chest won't relax you. Picture your breath coming up from your gut. Slowly repeat a calm word or phrase, such as relax, take it easy. Repeat it to yourself while breathing deeply. Use imagery. Visualize a relaxing experience from either your memory or your imagination. Non-strenuous, slow, yoga-like exercises can relax your muscles and make you feel much calmer. Practice these techniques daily. Learn to use them automatically when you're in a tense situation. 2. Evaluate your anger. Before you spring into action to calm yourself down, ask yourself if your anger is a friend or an enemy. If you're witnessing someone's rights being violated, or you are in an unhealthy situation, your anger might be helpful. In these situations, you might proceed by changing the situation rather than changing your emotional state. Sometimes your anger is a warning sign that something else needs to change, like an emotionally abusive relationship or a toxic friendship. If, however, your anger is causing distress or hurting your relationships, your anger may be an enemy. Other signs of this type of anger include feeling out of control and regretting your words or actions later. In these situations, it makes sense to work on tackling your emotions and calming yourself down. 3. Get enough sleep at night. Most adults need at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night to thrive. Being sleep deprived can contribute to a wide range of health problems, including the inability to manage emotions properly. Getting adequate sleep can improve your mood and lessen your anger. Checking social media, sending emails, or looking at the news before bed can keep us awake, as nighttime use of electronics can affect sleep through the stimulating effects of light from digital screens. So, use less social media before going to bed. Instead, listen to natural sounds. But if you're living in a noisy city, then use YouTube or any platform of your choice to hear the atmospheric sounds of forest and riverside. Have a positive conversation with a loved one, such as a friend, family member, or counselor. Keep an anger journal. Begin writing down details about your anger. If you have an episode or event in which you lost control of your emotions, write it down. Be sure to include exactly how you felt. What caused you to be angry? Where were you? Who were you with? How you reacted? And how you felt afterwards. After you have kept your journal for a while, you should begin to look for commonalities among entries to identify the people, places, or things that trigger your anger. A sample journal entry may look like this. Today, I became very angry at a coworker. He called me selfish for not offering to pick up lunch for everyone. We were in the lounge area, and I was taking a break from a stressful day by eating a cheeseburger from the restaurant next door. I got really angry and yelled back at him, called him a name, and stormed off. I punched the desk when I got back to my office. Then I felt guilty and ashamed and hid in my office the rest of the day. Over time, you may evaluate your journal and find that being called a name, such as selfish, is a trigger for your anger. And finally, I would just like to say that, remember, you cannot remove anger. and it would be a bad thing to try. Despite your best attempts, things will happen that will make you angry, and occasionally, that anger will be justified. Life will be full of frustration, grief, loss, and the unpredictability of others' acts. You can't alter it, but you can modify how you react to similar circumstances. Controlling your furious reactions will help you avoid being even more miserable in the long term.